And we're live. Hello everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel. Welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 63. And this is the one about Jeet Kune and the art of self-promotion. Okay, so as you guys are logging in, you know the deal, right? Be kind enough to say where you're logging in from and hit the like button and continue doing so if I happen to say something particularly insightful or something that you agree with, maybe even something you don't agree with. I'm kidding. All right, and that way Facebook knows that we're having a good time and they assign algorithmic relevance to what we're doing. All right, so origin story for today's title. So over the past couple of broadcasts, we've been talking about JKD and the art of so-and-so, right? So a quick reminder on where this is all coming from and kind of where I'd like you to take it, so to speak, right? So my realization back when I was running my school, over 20 years, one of my realizations was that the art of self-defense is actually the art of self-development. Hey, Sifu Randy. Because martial art is a perfect training vehicle, right, for the development and or the enhancement of positive human attributes, any positive human attribute which carries the prefix of self. So self-confidence, self-esteem, self-control, self-actualization, etc., 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 right? Bruce Lee, because of his tremendous self-discipline, is an epitomatic example of what is achievable. So epitomatic, that's a word I made up yesterday, right? We had our little pre-class JKD rap session, and the word epitome came up, and I was like, man, there's got to be an adjective from the noun epitome, so I made up the word epitomatic yesterday, right? I haven't found it in Webster's dictionary yet. Anyhow, Bruce Lee is the epitome of what is achievable through tremendous self-discipline, right? So when I talk about Jeet Kune and the art of self-promotion, I'm not at all talking about being a charlatan. Like people who just appointed themselves JKD instructors with no or little experience. You might not know this, but back in the day, there were guys from foreign countries who would come out to the States, take a seminar, take some pictures, get their seminar participation certificate, and then go back to their country, use that certificate as a certificate of instructorship, and open up schools and start teaching, right? The classic, one-eyed man in the land of the blind syndrome. But that's not to say that that kind of behavior was relegated only to foreign countries, because here in the good old USA, there were people doing similar things, right? There were people taking advantage of spurious connections to Bruce Lee, spurious relationships to Bruce Lee or any other JKD notable, and they were then creating their own organizations or their own associations, and complete with rank awards and offers of instructorship and what have you. And in some of them, you didn't even have to do it in person. You could send a video of yourself doing like Jeet Kune moves, and then based on what they saw in the video, they'd assign or award you a rank or something, right, in their Jeet Kune organization. That's something that I guess happens in the martial art world. It even happens in the traditional arts, where a guy breaks away from the instructor or from the art and he creates his new style and assigns himself a new rank. Maybe he even makes himself the grand master of this new style or this new art, and then he goes out and he joins an organization of other grandmasters, right? You might think I'm kidding, but this kind of thing I don't know if it still goes on, but I can assure you it definitely used to go on back in the day, right? That is not the self-promotion of which I am speaking. Again, going back to it was either last week or a few weeks ago, I mentioned Robert Ringer's concept of leapfrogging, right? Which is something found in his book, Winning Through Intimidation, which has been renamed To Be or Not to Be Intimidated, right? Great book, terrible revised title. It's the idea of not waiting around for anybody to appoint you to any role or what have you. Bruce Lee never waited around for anybody to tell him, oh, you know, you're a great martial artist with a lot of potential and a lot of stuff to offer, right? He made that decision all himself, and then he went out and did it. Went out and made it come true, let's say, right? So what I'm talking about is appointing yourself as an ambassador, let's say, of Jeet Kune Do, a representative of this great art and philosophy. And why? Because nobody is going to do it for you, right? Like Chris Kent says, there is no consensus on the Jeet Kune Do way, the Jeet Kune Do approach, right? There's no central organizing, governing body or what have you. So it is up to us to safeguard the art. Originally, I wanted to call today's broadcast the 4 P's of Jeet Kune Do, right? Preserve, perpetuate, promote, promulgate, right? Which is all actually part of my personal Jeet Kune Do mission statement. But I think I chose a better title, right? Jeet Kune Do and the Art of Self-Promotion. It is up to us to do this for the art. When I named myself the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, it was because I was rebelling against what I saw as the wholesale adoption into Jeet Kune Do of the traditional martial art procedures used and taught by the traditional martial art businessmen, right? Instead of a continuation of the renegade JKD approach of absorption, right? You know what I'm talking about. Absorb what is useful and add in what is specifically your own. So the moniker of the JKD Rebel came about because I was violently opposed to what it is that I saw going on. In the traditional arts, we used to reject, to a certain degree, some of the techniques and some of the training methods of the traditional arts, right? Last night, Cass Magda and I were talking, and he was telling me about back in the old days when he used to have to carry around this big bag of focus mitts, right? And I go, oh yeah, you mean the army duffel bag? He goes, no, that was a different bag. There was this bag which was like a fireman's carry-all, this huge thing. And so wherever he and Dan Inasano in the early days were going to teach a seminar, Cass had to carry this huge bag full of focus mitts. Why? Because the use of focus mitts as training tool, striking equipment, was not that common outside of the JKD world. So a lot of people, not like today where everybody owns, a couple pairs of focus mitts. Back then, Inasano had to supply the equipment to the seminars, right? So it was Cass's job to lug that thing around, right? Another thing, if you listen to any of the Dialogues episodes with any of my old school seniors, Burt Richardson, Tanya, Subing Monroe, Chris Kent, even not Cass. All right, wishful thinking, people. Right, go like this. But if you hear those guys talking, they will talk a lot about all of the experimenting that went on at the Kali Academy, right? So part of that experimented. Did you know that part of that experimenting was the full contact sparring, and a lot of third degree, fourth degree black belt people in the traditional art, right? Those guys got their butts handed to them at the Kali Academy by people who had only been training in JKD for like 6 months, right? So I make that point just so you see what I'm talking about. In back in the day when focus mitts was not a thing and full contact sparring was not a thing, except in the JKD world, right? So to sum this up, this is what I mean. By all means, go out there and develop yourself, develop your Jeet Kune, and then appoint yourself some kind of JKD ambassador and get out there and do your part to preserve, perpetuate, promulgate, promote the art, right? I'll be there waiting for you, ready and willing to help you however I can. All right, okay, that's it for today, guys. Feel free to share, like, dislike, comment, ask me questions if you want. I will go through everything after posting the video. Sign up for notifications for when we go live. Like I've told you before, when I do the broadcast, I'm gonna be using the group page for I Love Jeet Kune. So I beg you to join the group so that and sign up for notifications so you know when we go live for the broadcast. Right now, it looks as if the JKD Dialogues is going to stay on my personal page, on the Dwight D. Woods page. For now, that might change sometime in the future. Remember, at ilovejeetkune.com, Quick Skill Series Volume 1 still available. Show your support for our efforts here. Make a purchase at the store at jkdrebel.com. Coming up this Friday, February 8th, Jeet Kune Dialogues episode with Marcus Charles of MKG Chicago. Sifu Nick, I think you might know who that is. So that's this Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, right? Today's a red day. There we go. And I think that's it, right? So I'll see you back here. I'll see some of you on Friday, remember, on my personal page, and then I'll see the rest of you back here next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. I'll see you soon.